Right now, Cliff Schecter is with us. He is the National Progressive PR Strategist with Libertas LLC, nationally syndicated columnist for Al Jazeera English, author of the book The Real McCain. His website, libertasllc.com. He is Twitter at Cliff Schecter, Schecter. And Cliff, welcome back to the program.
Thanks so much, Tom. I appreciate your having me.
You wrote a piece, and in fact, I saw, interestingly, Andrew Sullivan wrote something very similar, and saying something that I've been saying since, and I'm not claiming pride of authorship here, I think a lot of us have been saying, literally since the weeks after 9/11, of course the anniversary will be this weekend, thus the topic, and thus the wall-to-wall coverage in the media. And that is that Bin Laden laid out a very specific goal with 9/11, and that goal was to goad us into responding to the Islamic world in a hyper-reactive way and create a war between the West and Islam so that he could use as a recruiting tool for al-Qaeda and turn himself into a hero and to bleed dry this country. These are the things that Bin Laden said he was going to do back in 1998 in the New York Times.
Right.
So the question, did Osama Bin Laden win?
Sadly, in a lot of ways he did, and I wrote my piece from a very personal perspective because I grew up in New York City, and I was one of the unlucky ones who, it was actually primary day in New York that day. And so I was working on a political campaign down in that area. I had been in the North Tower 16 hours beforehand, and, with my own eyes from not far away, saw the second plane hit. And so, I tried to talk about how, it was a tough transformation, tough for me to go forward and others, but more horrifying even than what I witnessed that day was how my country was transformed. And really, I think it's all kind of right there in front of you when you've got in the past week Dick Cheney, traveling around, talking about his memoir and literally bragging about torture, bragging about war crimes, bragging about warrantless wiretapping, which is a crime. Not sort of hiding his role, and not only hiding, but bragging, and these number of things that he was involved in. And to me, as sad as that day was, and it was really very tough for me for a while after that to sort of think and talk about it, but in my name and your name and the rest of our names, what these guys, did to our country, again, Bin Laden, they fulfilled, I think they went beyond what his expectations could have been.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
You write about watching the second plane hit and how it replays in your memory in slow motion. I think for most Americans, even who weren't there like you were, television made sure that we have that same PTSD trauma. And it seemed that, I mean, when Tim McVeigh blew up the Oklahoma City federal building, he had read the Turner Diaries, the novel that's kind of the Bible of the white power movement in the United States. Right. And in that novel, the hero of the novel blows up a federal building in Oklahoma City, and the president of the United States clamps down by taking away all the guns from everybody and stripping everybody of civil rights and turning basically America into a police state, which causes all the good white Christians to rise up and start basically killing people in an orgy of killing, starting with African Americans and then going on to people who are Jewish, and then of course any government employee, and in the end, only the good white Protestant Christians are left standing and ruling the country. And that's what Tim McVeigh thought he was going to bring about. It's really not that different a vision than Osama bin Laden thought he would bring about, in as much as he would, Bill Clinton did not overreact to Tim McVeigh. He did not do what McVeigh wanted, and thus, we were spared, 8 years of insanity as a result of this. But George Bush did exactly what bin Laden wanted, if I'm reading this right.
No, I agree. I think that's a terrific analysis, that comparison, because we often look and say the far Christian right, the Dominionists, those that would attack America. There, you've talked about this. There is anti-American as Muslim terrorists. I mean, is Eric Rudolph more pro-American than Osama bin Laden? Of course he's not. Osama bin Laden sadly was more successful in murdering Americans. But these guys, hate this country, all of them, and they have this dream of bringing it to its knees. And, and part of that always, of course, involves the government overreacting and violent overreach. And you're right. The interesting thing is, even the limited measures that President Clinton tried to enforce after the attack in Oklahoma City, you may remember he wanted to have some more transparency in banking and be able to stop some of the money that's being shifted from these sort of shadow groups to Al-Qaeda. You may remember a guy by the name of Phil Graham blocked that back then because there was too much government intrusiveness. Meanwhile, when these guys are in power, of course, the only thing they don't take away from you is anybody, no matter how much of a terrorist or a criminal can get their hands on a gun still, but every single other right that we had, when it comes to they're searching our property without a warrant. When it comes to obviously prisons without due process, Guantanamo and the rest. I mean, again, I think the point I try to make in the piece is if anybody imagined this country in the late 90s or even the dawn of 2000, I just don't think we could have imagined that this would occur in our country. I couldn't imagine even someone in a position like Eric Cantor could stand there and say, we need to find budget offsets to help people whose lives are just destroyed by a hurricane. And I feel like that's all kind of, there's this sort of post 9/11, we were manipulated. People used this to polarize us and to spur hatred between different groups. And I think a lot of what these guys, what the Bin Ladens wanted, they got from the Dick Cheneys, and that's only made this country a sort of harder place at times. I don't want to say there still aren't some terrific people, and I love this country, and that's why I care. And there's some great people out there, but it's been a darker place since then. As you could guess by some of the things that we've heard and seen recently. And
it seems like Dick Cheney was probably one of the loudest leaders of the "Be Afraid, Be Very Afraid" movement within the government.
That seems exactly right. Look, everything his memoir seems to say is true. It really seems like, as we would guess, as Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson said, Colin Powell's chief of staff, that really in the end Dick Cheney was the president, Bush wasn't. We know that day that Cheney was the one who was saying it was okay to shoot down airplanes. I don't know where Bush was. And if that's the kind of level of control Cheney had, of course, I think you could probably blame him for a lot more. I mean, not you probably could. We have evidence you could. And he admits you can. Yeah. And that's just we need to get back to the dream that was America before 9/11. That's what we need.
Right. Yeah. Let's, bring back my country, please.
Yeah.
And step by step, I think we'll get there. I think we're awakening from this long national nightmare that Bush and Cheney brought us. Cliff Schecter, LibertasLLC.com. Thank you, Cliff.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Good work you're doing.